welcome to episode, was it 17 of Beta Academy's Pandemic Podcast.
No, this is episode 19.
19, I'm sorry. My bad. But I'm still your host, Nakapan, and I got your co-host here, Luis Candelas, working the Facebooks, making sure if you have any comments, questions, please go ahead and submit them. Today, we have special guest, Coach Mike Batenga. It's wonderful seeing him. He was actually Beta Academy's first coach that we brought on board. So we're going to talk a little bit about how he got into martial arts, a little bit about that. And he's also a celebrity bodyguard. I make that up. I don't know, but he is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're called celebrities, but
you do executive protection. Some people that are more well known than others, but I want to get into that. How you got into that and how that business works.
For sure.
Also, he is prepared. We talk a lot about different things that are happening around the world. I got to be careful what I say all the time, you know. But behind him, you're gonna see like a big stack of MREs. So we'll get into that part too towards the end about why you do that, and of course where we can get some. So
sure.
Apparently you got some good news on that. So Coach Mike, man, good to see you. We've been a long time friends for man. I know you for what, like at least almost 20 years, right?
Yeah. Met you at Beta with Mike Moses, our
instructor.
Yeah, our quasi stepfather at times.
Now that we talked, I'm gonna probably try to bring him on the show another day.
Oh, so. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd like to be on the same. Like if I could come
Hell
back
yeah.
on him, that'd be great.
I'll definitely bring you on for that one. But tell us a little bit how you got into martial arts.
What
it was for you.
You know, of course, being Asian, you know, and growing up Bruce Lee era, you know, that definitely influenced me. But I started around like 14. I did like traditional Shorin-ryu, Okinawan karate. But he was a Filipino martial arts instructor. He was from Philippines. He taught me Eskrima, which I had no clue Philippines even had a martial art until when I was 14, and I'm Filipino. So, I learned that, you know, a couple years. You know, but I wrestled a couple years in high school, which I call martial art as well. You know, I've always liked the combative arts. It just interested me.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in good old PG County, Prince George's.
County, huh?
Yeah, 20783 is like the worst zip code of COVID cases for the last 2 months. Oh yeah, we have like 10% of the county cases in my zip code. Anyway, yeah, I grew up in like Adelphi near Langley Park. So yeah, I grew up in a little rough area. It wasn't like, you know, dodging bullets all the time, but you know, it was very challenging to go to school and go to high school, especially in the 80s.
It's not Moco.
No.
Where people got like one Mercedes instead of two. Like, how do you live like that?
Oh my God. So yeah, that's how I got in martial arts, and then I stopped. You know, I played traditional sports, football in college, and then I picked it up right back in like 2004, which I wish I didn't wait, because, you know, the UFC was getting really mainstream, and, you know, I wanted to do jiu-jitsu before that, but I couldn't find, like, there was no schools before, you know, 2000. You know, we know who, you know, Yamasaki was the first, I guess, was here.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I went to school locally, is because I wasn't sure that I was going to find a school anywhere else. But, you know, I probably could have looked in California or New York.
Oh, yeah.
But now you could just you could throw a rock and hit another school somewhere. So. Yeah,
it's crazy. Everyone's training. That's why I don't fight with anybody. I don't, you know, it's too many bad dudes on this planet these days.
And there's a lot of people watching UFC. I think even like untrained people are trying to do trained things, like, you know.
Oh, I've seen, there's on YouTube videos that, you know, and they ask, "What do you look? How do I watch YouTube videos?" Like, I'm like, I mean. Hey,
hip hop world star. Is that what they?
That's right.
YouTube works. I've seen it. I've seen many people that watch it, and it feels like it's almost like when they watch it, they understand it a little bit, and then when they start training, they get better quicker. So, like, even watching it, like a super fan, they become like a one stripe wipeout. You know, like
well, yeah, their knowledge base is like, yeah. Then they start doing, you know, crazy. Friggin' Barambolos. I'm like, you're white.
Well, that's I think like, well, Lewis, we always say he's the proof that you can learn online, because he was part of the 10th Planet before, but he still does those techniques. But the thing is, I think you have to really dedicate yourself to wanting to train. And if you go online and find the moves, I think it's great because it gives you something to work off of. But if you don't, I feel like you're not dedicated to learning it, you could actually regress in the sense that like you were probably a better fighter or like a person who could protect themselves, but whether you just swing and instinctively do things, but then now you're kind of forgetting all that. You got to get rid of all that and try to learn something new that you might not.
Well, that's what I had to do in 2004. Yeah. Like even Mike Moses was like, you're a brawler. I'm like, yeah, I just started, and it was tough to transition from just, being partially trained or mainly to like, shedding off the bad techniques or just, and then you like, but it has helped me out in training. I did get in two altercations. Remember that Christmas party? When we had a Christmas party, and me and a couple other friends after the party, we went to the bar up the street. Some guy, I'm getting cab. I'm in a cab. A guy, my Uber, some big dude gets out and tries to pull me out of it. He's like, "This is my Uber." I'm like, "What?"
What did you do, Mike?
And then the Uber driver's like to the other guy, "Get out, get out." And the guy was like, "I'm getting in," and he used to like yanking me out. This is like 6'4", 6'3", 270. He's a big boy. I was like, "Oh man, this ain't gonna be fun." And then he swung on me. Because I got out, I was like, take it. I don't care. I'll get another one. And he just got in my face, and then, he was laid out on the sidewalk.
Damn. Don't worry. Statute of limitations is expired already.
That's right. That's right.
No,
but your training has come in handy. I tried to de-escalate, and he kept on coming. So I had to.
Was it late at night and alcohol was involved?
Yes.
There you go.
I apologize.
Well, hey, everybody's out. This is what happens sometimes.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't want to do that.
Oh, man. But yeah, you've been training for a long time. Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. You're still training a lot, hopefully. I mean, is this hard in this
10-year purple belt?
Hey, you're forever, man. Forever. That's okay. That's the best belt.
I'm coming back.
You say that all the time.
It's been a while since I've been saying that.
Yeah, man. Well, we got reconnected back in 2009 when the first we had the school in the charter school. We needed an instructor, especially someone to help out with intros. I called you up, and you were coming to DC at that time, so you came in and started. I remember it
was amazing. It was great. It was a good time. It helped me out a lot in that time too.
I see that, and everybody, you're going through some personal things. I was going through some personal things, so I think like it's always good to have martial art to come back to, and of course, all the relationships that we make through martial arts, like these things last forever, man.
Oh, forever. Really you go to tournaments, you're like, you see a person you met 5 years ago, they still remember you. It's great. It's a great community. I love the Jiu-Jitsu community.
It's good stuff, man. So now, if I would get into your profession, you are a bodyguard, or I would say executive protection.
Yeah, agent or specialist. Yeah, the word bodyguard is like, you think of a bodyguard, it's synonymous for a no-neck bouncer who's 6'8".
Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston.
Yeah, yes. That's what we're trying. Like, well, we're trying to get away from that image just because a lot of the agents that are coming out are very well trained. There's so many executive protection schools that popped up after 9/11. I went to one of the oldest and probably one of the best ones in the country, but I'm biased, but I went to Executive Security International. It's a great school. It was a 2-year program. So it wasn't just a 7-day course that they crammed down your throat. It was a very intense program. At one time, they were giving like a 2-year associate's degree in applied sciences, but they had a contract with the higher education of Colorado where you're getting a college degree, but I think they got rid of that program. It didn't work out. But yeah, it's pretty intense.
Were you already in the field before you went into the classes, or?
No. So basically mortgage banker.
Okay.
And I have ADD. So, and it's all papers and organization and files. I mean, your files at the end of the loan is like that. And plus I couldn't sit in front behind a desk for the rest of my life. I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just couldn't deal with the pushing paper. So one of my friends suggested, he was in it. He was like, why don't you go to this school? He sent me a link. I did all the, inquiring, and like the next, 2 months later, I'm in Colorado for 2 weeks just for firearms, working the client, doing advanced work, which means you're going to a site in advance of the protection detail. So just to scope things out, make physical security assessments or threat assessments. So yeah, they teach you everything. The airport security, airlines. I mean, it's a very intense program. Great stalker program. They go delve into behavioral, psychology and human behavior.
You can almost be like a private investigator now.
Well, yeah, there's a component of that too. Like I'm a licensed PI just because a lot of our work is proactive. So we're trying to prevent attacks. So we're doing a lot of investigations, like intelligence collection, just to avoid situations.
So that's how somebody gets involved. That you're like, all right, I want to change my field. I'm trying to find something different. I mean, that's a crazy field to get into, man.
Well, yeah, I was making all right money in the mortgage business, but I just saw the writing on the wall. I was like, man, you can't give 125% financing to a person with a 580 credit scores and think they're going to keep that house. I was like, so yeah, I saw the writing on the wall for the 2008 crash in 2004. I just was like, this can't sustain itself. So I got out before everyone made a bunch of my friends made millions. They stayed in and just started crushing it. But I was just like, that's not me. I don't care about that. So yeah, I definitely, this job is a lot more honorable.
When you graduate, do they find you a job or do you?
So yeah. As soon as I got home, I'm not trying to pat my own butt, but they said I did really well for a guy who doesn't have military or law enforcement experience. So yeah, as soon as I got home, there was a message on my voicemail saying, "Can you be in the Michigan area tomorrow?" Or So they basically, all the instructors there have their own security companies and have contracts already. So when they see someone that they think that'll work out, I guess. So yeah, I flew out to Detroit. I worked. It was like a strike. It was a workforce reduction for automotive. And when people get laid off, they're not too happy with the execs. So we have to go there, protect the executives and at the plant or wherever.
See, that's a crazy job. That's right. So the executives are concerned that the workers are going to
retaliate.
Okay.
And so they just they assign some executive protection agents to all the executives that feel threatened or requested. The higher ups, I'm sure the lower, the bottom feeders aren't getting any protection. But yeah, just like the VP, president, all that. So yeah, and then it's word of mouth. Like I tell people, like, how do you get in the industry? I tell people, I watched a couple YouTube videos and got my first job off of Craigslist, and they're like, "What?" No, then I tell them I'm joking. I'm like, "No, dude, it's a lot harder than that." But yeah, it's a very rewarding career. It snowballs, word of mouth. I tell people who get in this industry or anything in life, your interaction with that person is like an interview for your next job or a next opportunity. So freaking make a great impression, because then you don't know if that guy has a company. So all the people I work with, they have companies too. So if you're teamed up with a good person, they get along, but they'll hire you as well. So it just snowballed. And fortunately, I was at the right place at the right time, and I landed a sweet gig with a huge media communication company that was located in Silver Spring. I'm sure people could. They have a big shark sticking out there. Yeah, it was a great. I don't think I'll get in trouble, but there was a show executives got threatened. So, and my friend was like, can you be here in 30 minutes? And I just showed up and worked 20-hour shifts, just sat in my car and in front of the execs' houses. And then Discovery.
Yeah. They're not there anymore. They moved, right? Then they moved everybody.
Yeah, they're in New York now. Because of Johnny Hendricks, gave up the company, or he went public and he stepped down. And all the CEO is New York based anyway. So, yeah. And then I got a call, and I work for the original Karen. Everything I'm telling now is all public knowledge. You could go online, but I work for the original Karen.
Who?
Kate Goslin. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Remember? You don't remember that?
I
remember
two. I remember two specifically that involved Mike Batenga.
Oh boy.
In the media, but I don't want to talk about it unless he mentions.
I don't care, dude. Well, the Inquirer.
Yeah. Well, okay, wait. So you're protecting Mama June and Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, that's all public knowledge. Like I'm not saying anything.
I searched you up. You came up. I was like, Mike Batenga. Yeah. Oh, where's the bodyguard? Blah blah blah. So anyway,
I had an affair with Mama June. I broke her and Sugar Bears. It was I was in a.
Oh God!
But you did it, right?
What's that?
You didn't do that, right?
Shh, I don't kiss and tell. No. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
I remember, I think I was at the DMV, and a picture from the National Enquirer, I can't remember, somebody sent it to me, and I sent it to Nak, and he was like, what the hell? Or maybe Nak, you sent it to me, or I can't remember.
But I sent it to you because I'm
at the DMV, and we're like, oh my God, Mike, what happened?
Got drunk? Yeah, no, never happened.
I've never seen a show. I mean, I've only seen clips of Honey Boo Boo. So she's like a out of control young.
You know what?
Girl.
I have nothing but great things to say. They live their life differently than mainstream or what people expect. But to me, I look back, they treated me really well. Like down to earth, very. They always try to see if I was good. Like, I was all right. Some clients, they don't even think they treat you as subhuman at times. But yeah, they're good. But yeah, they're challenging. It was a different world going down there. So I didn't even know who she was before I was, I was engaged to another TLC Discovery talent, but I didn't meet her during any official Discovery things. I met her at an airport, actually. I was going to Colorado, going to a pistol course, and I met her. We both missed our flights, and she told me she was on a TLC show called Police Women in Maricopa County, and I was like, yeah, I
remember that.
I work for your parent company. And we started talking, and so yeah, that was interesting when I and she told me that it was that year that I got hired to get on that detail. She's like, have you heard of Honey Boo Boo? I was like, what? What is that? And she was like, some show. This girl's on Tyler's and TR's, and it's a spinoff. I'm like, never heard of her. Supposedly, she's like, that year she was the second most Googled person in the world. That's how insane my job was as soon as I jumped in. Crowds everywhere.
Yep.
Paparazzi following us. It was like out of the movies.
Yeah. I remember you were working with them. I felt like at the peak of their stardom. And then they had because they were on one show, and then the mom was such a character that they had a spinoff with the daughter, because the daughter was a character. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they've given up. I think they're still.
They still have a show. I talk, I still keep in touch with them, see how they're doing. Just as after 6 years, even though it's a profession and everyone's like, don't cross the lines. It's hard when you spend 5 years of, and their children. I love children, so I for some reason, I've had a lot of kid clients in my career as well. So yeah, they're good people. It was when we went to New York a lot, just I mean, you go on YouTube right now and put like Honey Boo Boo, New York City, and there's just like so many like 20 paparazzi just in our faces, in our car. Just it was challenging, but it was fun.
So your job is to protect this one wasn't the execs. This was the actual people that are on the show.
Yeah.
So your job. How many people are on the detail?
Well, just depends. If it's a big like production or they're doing a trip and they're on a filming a special where it takes more manpower, they'll bring in another guy from Maryland, and then they'll hire local guys. Like we'll hire like local off-duty police officers just to augment like the physical security. But yeah, but usually it's just like we had 2 guys, and then we went down to 1, went back to 2, just depended. But I was on my own for months on end. 5 crazy Southern women, mostly. They're all women. Like it was challenging, especially when we went to Walmart. That was always a treat.
They still shopped at Walmart at the peak of their fame.
Oh yeah, that at the peak of their fame, Mama June was she liked to save money. At first, she used to, because she was called the coupon queen. Like literally, we'd go to Walmart, and she'd get $1,500 worth of stuff, and she'd only have to pay the taxes. Because I was like, can you give me that coupon hookup? I'm literally like, we would get $1,500 worth of Tide Pods because she had these stacks of coupons for free Tide. I'm like, where do you get those? She's like, don't worry about it. I'm the coupon. I'm like, yeah. So those are we always go to Walmart 3 times a week.
The show is it's like a reality show that just following them around, but they know when they're filming, right? It's not like it's like not all the time, like 24/7.
No. It was scheduled. And everyone's like, oh, is it fake? I was like, no, actually, this show is actually a very, some reality shows are scripted or soft scripted or what they call it, but this was like straight up real. Like they didn't tell them they try to feed stuff. And they're like, we ain't saying that.
Isn't it hard if you're like a known person to have like a regular kind of unscripted, you go around, because everybody's trying to take pictures with you and do crazy stuff. Yes.
Yeah. We went to Panama City, and literally she announced like just out of the blue meet and greet in the parking lot of Walmart, because Alana used to sell like Girl Scout cookies. She sold like 13,000 boxes just because she used her fame, and she donated. She's cool because you get prizes she actually donated all like the laptop or whatever she got back to like her friends that were in the Girl Scouts. So yeah, a lot of people only see the surface in the show and they judge them, but they're really good people, man. They have really good hearts. I have nothing but great things to say about them.
Now, when you're out for long periods of time during the shooting, so I say filming, you're there for like months at a time. So you go to a lot of different places.
Yeah. I have, with them, Panama City 4 or 5 times, just different little festival, state park. They're filming, whatever the show they went on that show, I was probably with them a lot of times, at least half the time on those shows.
It's kind of like in the background.
Yeah, because a lot of people do clamor around while they're filming in the mall, and so we have to do crowd control, because we're also in charge of the production, like security too. Like, so if someone tries to get in the camera or someone like messes with a cameraman, we have to take care of that too. Plus, keep an eye on the clients as well. So that's when we bring in 2.
Did anything happen in the?
Not with me. There's several that with different clients, but not with this client. The other executive protection agent, he had an incident. Just someone who didn't like him and just started mouthing off, and he was
What's the craziest incident that you've been a part of in your executive protection time?
I don't know if the craziest, but everyone was like, have you ever had to go hands-on? And I was doing security for a very A-list celebrity, older guy. He's been around. He's He was like a ladies' man back in the day. I don't want to disclose, but he was basically he was getting an award at the museum, a museum, and he some guy at a restaurant attacked. Like we were walking through the restaurant, and some guy jumped in front of him with a microphone, and his girlfriend or partner got a professional camera out and started like trying to like they bum rushed interviewed him. They were like trying to gangster into her. Like, what's your stance on this? You know, they're trying to just make him look like crap.
Yeah.
So, I grabbed my flashlight, zapped if you flash a light in a lens, you can't sell it. You can't, it's just a big blob. So I killed her chances of making any money off of this bull crap. And then, I did some armbar control on the dude. And the other guys were with me. They just took him and they did perfect. They got him down. They ran him out of the car, shoved him in, and the car zipped out. Well, I took care of that dude, but he was a kid who wanted to be an internet whatever, and he saw opportunity. I just told him not today. So yeah, we got during Katrina, a bunch of us went down there and we got shot at, of course. I don't know if it was indirectly, but I mean, we could hear them. There was just so many people, gangbangers. There's just people just.
Who were you protecting down in the Hurricane Katrina disaster?
I was protecting we were tasked to rescue 400 medical personnel that got stuck there. They were there at a convention and they couldn't get out on time. 400 doctors, nurses, from all over the country were like stuck in this in the Marriott downtown it's huge. So we were there to go rescue them and escort them out safely. About 100 of us went down there, former all security contractors. A lot of guys just got back from Iraq. A lot of guys said that down there was worse. The scene was worse than Iraq in some places in New Orleans. They said it was like
people were panicking. They were.
No, it was when we got there. It was Tuesday, the day after storm. Literally, it was just trash. There was water everywhere. We luckily got in off an overpass, and then we went right into Canal Street, which is like 2 feet above seawater. So there was not much water. There was hardly water on the top of Canal Street. So that's where we were supposed to rescue the people. So en route, they changed our mission to. They got the Marriott contract. We had to secure 20 hotels. Tactically clear them, secure them so they could be rented out to FEMA workers or displaced people. So they saw of course they saw money, and they're like, get these things up and running so we could keep making money. So yeah, we had to go secure, and then I jumped on another contract, and it was a large. So I was protecting the president of a large telecommunication company, the biggest one down there at the time. He was going down there because he was like, my whole network's trash down here. The whole phone system was done. So yeah, those are the people. I was down there for 3 months. Then I did security at the children's hospital. I was escorting doctors in at the border because the children's hospital was in straight up hood, bad. So yeah. A couple guys try to break into the pharmacy. I mean, there's guys showing up.
This is trying to get Katrina.
Yeah. So it was still, it was 3 months after the storm. Yeah, and within those 3 months, I went to Houston to chase Rita. It was a crazy 3 months. Yeah, and that's and let's jumping to a different subject. Well, not different. That's what actually opened my eyes on being prepared. I was always a guy that would like to be thought I was prepared, but man, when I saw the suffering and how the government was not anywhere to be found because of bickering, because political,
Talk to me about that. Well, okay, talk to me about that a little bit. So you saw the Katrina came. I mean, that was it just ran through the area, right? So there's no more no power,
no government, no law, no order. It was out of like a scene out of Escape from New York. Like there's little fires because there was no electricity, so people had to see. So the people were like lighting fires. I mean, it was like a out of an apocalypse movie. Water was everywhere. No, nothing was going. Like fires, like transformers were just exploding in the distance. You see the whole city just lighting up because of the water getting into the transformers. So they're just getting fried.
So there's no water either then. There's no water, no electricity.
No water. That's why I was like, I'm not going to suffer these. What was very profound was there was a French family that came up to me, and we were told explicitly not to give aid to anybody because then we'll have 1,000 people the next day thinking they can come back and get some food and water. Yeah. So, but this family, small 5-6-year-old kids, like one small girl, one small boy, they looked like they were in tatters. Like they looked like they were shell shocked, and they came up to me and were like, "Can you please help us? We got stuck here," in their French accent. "We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. We have no food. We have no water." I'm like, man, if I don't ever want my children to suffer. I could care less, but man, the faces on those kids, I was like, no, that's not going to happen to me. So, so I gave them MREs, which is like 3,000 calories. I gave them like 3, because that's all I get allotted a day. And then I gave them like 5 waters, and I told them to hide it, and they just left. But I wonder what happened.
Who hired you for these details? Is the government hiring? I mean, these guys you're almost like borderline mercenaries at this point.
Blackwater's down there. Walker, they all got deputized. I mean, we ran in a bunch of Blackwater dudes. They actually were across the street in another hotel. So the infamous BW Blackwater.
They changed their name, right? So they're not Blackwater anymore.
Yeah, Z, or there's so many cutouts. And
Blackwater's evil. Sorry.
But they're down there. Right? So government's paying them. Government's paying you guys.
UAE, yeah. Well, so yeah, we got hired by the corporation. Marriott. They're like, and it's a lot of money, dude. Literally, we took 3 or 4 coach buses because we had to fly into St. Louis. They're all filled with security contractors, BW dude, like Blackwater dudes, Dying Cork dudes, like a bunch of. It's like I was working for a company called Steel Foundation. They had this is all public knowledge. They had the Jean Aristide detail because Jean Baptiste, the former president of Haiti, back in like the early 2000s, they had his contract to protect him because he didn't trust his own Secret Service. So yeah, it's like the same company.
From the tsunami, the what is it? There's a cyclone or something like that ravaged through.
Earthquake,
right.
I went there too. I was there for 70 days. I was with Brian Williams. This is all public knowledge too, because I was seen on TV. I don't care at this point because he's not no longer. Yeah, I was with NBC. The big wigs, like the big, like Lester. Lester's awesome. Lester's cool dude. Lester Holt, the anchor now. Funny story. I walked in. We had to pitch tents, and it was like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I had to go use the restroom or the field, and because we pitched our camp at the airport, and I'm half asleep, and our tents look the same. We were right next to it. I wandered in his tent while I was sleeping, and like trying to crawl in bed, but I thought it was my tent, and Lester Hall was like, "Mike, we just met yesterday. I mean, maybe tomorrow, but that's such a cool dude." Yeah, good dude. Like, he plays in a band. Yeah, Lester Holt's a good dude.
They were there. They were there covering the whole, covering the disaster.
Yeah, they flew. Then they got tired after a week. 3 or 4 days. They punched out. They're like, I want a warm bed and not sleep in a tent. So then they rotated a bunch of other people in, like other national correspondents around the country. So all the ones at NBC you see, I work with, and
all these people can carry guns. You guys are all carrying guns.
So when I got called for this one, I was working on another detail full time. I had a call to get a couple weeks off because that's all I was supposed to go for a couple weeks. So I packed for a couple weeks, right? Like I have a go bag. Guys in my industry, we always have a bag that are we could just grab or stuff a couple of things in that are already pre-packed. I had 45 minutes to get ready. My friend picked me up basically they said that no guns, no firearms. I was like, but then me and the other guy was like, we're bringing ours just in case. We'll leave them in the car if we can't get them on the plane because they were taking privates. And basically we met the NBC security. He was like, did you guys bring any firearms? You're like, no. Well, you're like, you told us not to. I was like, that's not the question. He was like, did you bring any firearms? Like, maybe. Like, well, he didn't like say bring them on, but so yeah, we threw them on the private. And then I got bumped off. I had to go escort another group of NBC like cameramen and tech guys on another plane because they had the 2 Lear jets they chartered were already full. So I got bumped like 4 hours later, which actually worked out for me because they closed airspace in Haiti and we had to fly into DR. Darn. So Santo Domingo, they put us in like Boca Chica Resort for a couple of days before we had to drive inland because they closed airspace. It's all non-essential, and they didn't think media was essential. So we had to drive over land into Port-au-Prince. That was sketch, with 30 gringos in a bus and me. That was horrible. That was sketch.
Same situation in that there's no power, no water, there's no government.
No, it was 300,000 people died. There was bodies everywhere when I drove in. We drove right into the airport. The airport looked like apocalypse because everyone knew that's where the aid was going to go. So people were like pushing down the fence. They had to put tear gas these Haitians because they were looking for water and food and aid. I was like, man, as soon as I got it, it was 100 miles per hour, man, just so sketched out. I was like, give me my gun. People are walking around machetes, and that's like a common thing because that's their tool, like their daily tool. So people just walk around machetes like it's a normal thing. I'm like, man, a lot of people with edge weapons around here. It was chaos as soon as I got there.
This is in 2010, right?
Yeah, 2010. We 70 days, I think.
Yeah, they're saying somewhere around $8 billion in damages and over 200,000 in death.
Yeah, it was. I might have a little PTSD on some of the things I've seen. It was pigs in Port-au-Prince are like stray dogs. Pigs will eat anything, and I've seen some pigs eat. Let's just say that those things they ate didn't have to have a proper burial. Like, it was gross. We recovered a story for mass graves. I mean, they dug a hole and just took a dump truck, and I was right there watching it too. I'm like, a lot of suffering. I saw one girl hospital brought her daughter in. Daughter needed amputation, and she brought her in tow with like 4 other kids, and the doctor was like, if we amputate, you're gonna have to take care of her for the rest of her life, like wheel her around and and you know what she did? She just they left. They're like, no, I can't do that. So she pretty much sacrificed her daughter for the good for the 4 kids. Man, I was like, these are the hard decisions that people are making daily. Like, yeah, it was definitely a profound experience. You see a lot of death. You're like, man, you come home and you appreciate everything you have.
So that has affected you, obviously, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I people not as like I don't get that creeped out, but yeah, sometimes like it flashes in my memory a couple of scenes, but something reminds you of Haiti that those things pop up, but I don't lose sleep over it.
Enough for you to, in the background, buy how many MREs you got in there?
All right, so I got 15 boxes. So I got them for cheap. I went to an auction. I'm gonna give you that site.
Okay.
And I got them for like $15. They're usually $80.
What kind of business going out of business has all these boxes of MREs though?
It was a tactical supply company in Hagerstown.
And they're going out of business.
They went out of business. I got this vest for like $60. Like a brand new freaking level 3A like vest, like $100. So I was like, that's not a bad deal. You can never have enough armor these days. People like to, since this crazy division we have in this country, man. It's horrible, man.
Yeah. So you're getting prepared for you are prepared for a civil unrest bug out situation.
I mean, I'm not as prepared as a lot of my friends are. I mean, these guys are hardcore, survive a apocalypse, but I won't suffer as much as my neighbor. Let's just put that, unless they confiscate my shit. Don't disclose this address, please.
Yeah, no problem. No,
yeah, I think I'll be prepared. I have enough things to keep me going for a while. So yeah, after Katrina, that's when I started getting more prepared. And then when I saw, like, I was going to different disasters as well. Like, I went to Rita. I went to there was a couple of hurricanes I went to Florida for. So I just saw a lot of suffering, unwanted suffering that wouldn't have happened if they were prepared. So I was like, let me get prepared. I've invested a lot of money in my preparedness, which I could just pass it on my son, like, because he's, I have food that has 25-year shelf life, so I'm like, take it. If
MREs last for almost forever, man. I don't know if they taste that great, but you could eat them.
Yeah, hey, anything will taste good if you haven't eaten in like 5 days.
I was about to say, yeah, anything will taste good when you're starving.
I mean, I'll eat anything.
Man.
I ate a lot of weird stuff in the Philippines, and I was, never again. So yeah, hey, Baxter, get out of here. I got my guard corgi in the back. Yeah, still, that's why I'm prepared. Like, I've seen them too much in my life experience.
What else do you think is important? What other items do you think is important for somebody to prepare if they were trying to prepare for certain situations? Like, what do you feel is important?
Water, number one. So you don't need toilet paper. Like, that whole toilet paper thing was so. Yeah. I didn't buy anything. I was like, there's water that's coming out. You can use water, and like what they do, like
that's what we're using, water. So I was surprised.
Bidet, man, bidets are great. Anyway, water for sure. Water. Depending on environment, more urban, more built up, I'd probably get a firearm, just because I've seen a lot of people do bad things and they're good people just because they wanted their survival mindset took over their morality, I guess. Firearm, water, food for, they say 3 days. FEMA said 72-hour emergency. I tell people 2 weeks. Do 2 weeks. Like, people aren't going to come and rescue you in 3 days. You're not going to get help. I've seen that. Good luck with that. So I said a week. Food, FEMA has a great list. I would go use FEMA guidelines. But there is a lot of information. There's the so-called experts, survival experts, that will tell you to put something in your bug out bag that just is useless. So I would do research, compile a bunch of like preparedness lists, and find the most common ones in them, and then build up from there. Because, like I said, some people say they're survival experts or disaster experts, and because they saw a video or they paid for. I mean, I've seen some lists and items that were just it'd be useless. Other, like I said, food, water. Clothing, like, depending on your environment, I would get a change of clothing, definitely, because
do you have a rain barrel?
I do.
See,
I have one that goes under my gutter.
Downspout. Yep, I got the same. Yeah, I bought that one too. I have it in my in my backyard.
Dude, I'm telling you, water is the most, like, you could survive without food for what, 2 weeks?
They say, was it
30 days.
3 weeks.
I couldn't. Anyway, my thing. But yeah, well, you die. You can't survive after, like, I don't know, what is it? Couple of, like, 3 days without water.
Yeah, water is the one you need.
3 hours without shelter. No, 3 minutes without oxygen. 3 hours without shelter. 3 days without water.
Yeah.
Is it? And then
30 days without food.
3 weeks without food.
So 2 or 3, whatever. 2 weeks. Yeah. So, I would water, food, shelter. If you have to bug out, have a bag already built in, like, because I have a car bag. I just have, like, emergency flashlight, tools, automotive, like flashers. I have water in my car. I have like 3 days worth of stuff. I could survive in my car if I have to. If I get in a wreck and I'm on the side of a ravine somewhere. And then have a bag that's already prepared. Have you ever heard, there's bathtub bladders that you could buy that you could put in your bathtub, but it's a water bladder. So I'll give you the link too. So like it's just a big plastic bladder that it fits perfectly in the bathtub, and you just hook it up to your water and fill that up, and you have at least how many 50 gallons there. Yeah. So I have like 3 of those. Yeah, I'm not suffering, man. And if I have to, I'll eat a bullet. Seriously, I'm not going through all that.
No one's coming to take your stuff either, too, because I know you got lots of guns. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a couple, but they're all legal. they're not as much as Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew's a man with firearms. I watch your podcast with him.
Hey, did you know that in Colorado it's illegal to collect rainwater?
Yeah.
And something like you can only gather up to 110 gallons, something like that.
Oh,
it sounds crazy, man.
Oh no, I think it was like a law, a whole country, like you couldn't gather rainwater because they want you to pay for water. It's like I think your people were getting fined if you went off grid, like disconnected from electricity and water. People were getting like fined. I'm like,
crazy.
What?
Why does the government not want you to be self-sufficient? That to me doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what the pandemic is like.
Yeah, right. I got a lot of ideas about that too. So.
Yeah. So that's why I'm prepared, and that's my industry has taken me to strange and been to Central America, every damn little country in that place several times. That's a sketch detail. MS everywhere, 18th Street, gangs just everywhere.
That's what people are doing, right? They're getting together in gangs because that's how you survive.
Yeah, well, then MS, that's how they survived in LA. And then, of course, they deported all of them, and their gang culture is crazy. Like, everywhere you go, you'll see gang symbol or gang influence in El Salvador and Honduras and freaking Guatemala.
Actually, I live in Virginia now.
I know.
Good and bad things about that, but being in Virginia, I'm in a pretty, I would say, safe area that I thought I would be in. Annandale, that area, and
a lot of Asians there.
There's a lot. There's a lot of
Koreans, right?
Oh man, the Korean food.
Koreatown. That's good Korean barbecue. Anyway.
You got to. Kogia, man. That's like one of the best Korean barbecues.
Oh man, we gotta go.
Yeah, we do. But so one of the things where I'm on Nextdoor, which is like it's like a social media app that you can connect to all your next door neighbors, kind of thing. Because Nextdoor, so it's nice because you can see like, how do we get this tree out of our yard or something like this.
Sure.
Somebody got their car stolen. Actually, people have been going through our cars in the neighborhood pretty recently. Like I left my car on
and get used to it. People with no jobs, crime's gonna go skyrocket.
Actually, both of my cars, I left them unlocked because I thought like, hey, it's in front of my house, whatever, that's gonna happen. Somebody went through it, opened up my trunk, opened up the glove compartments, went through my whole thing. So I was like, damn. So I reported it to neighborhood watch next door. I'm like, guys, blah blah blah. Lock your doors. People are coming through. And this one guy he said that his car was stolen last week. And when he went to the police said not to report it stolen because MS-13 operates in our area. They will retaliate against us if they knew that we were reporting things against them.
Oh yeah,
that's insane.
Oh yeah. Oh no, seriously.
Yes, that we can't go to the police and report anything because the gangs in our neighborhoods are stronger than the police, dude.
Are you in fucking Colombia or something?
I'm in Virginia, bro. I'm in Northern Virginia.
The hell?
I'm in Northern Virginia, bro. Is this happening right in front of my house?
Wow.
So it's a crazy time.
It is. And it's gonna get worse just because there's the police. Their morale's horrible. They don't want to. They're there just to. I don't think their heart's in it just because. I mean, they're doing their job still, but it's tough. That's a tough job. I don't think this funding of the police.
The world hates you right now. You know, they're just there's not everybody. You know, there's good people and bad people everywhere.
That's true.
You know, and so now we got in a situation where all these cops are being labeled as bad people, and
right. Which I have friends that are great people. They have great hearts and they're cops. So it was hard. It was hard to see all this happen because I've had my run-ins with police officers just because I live in PG County and I was browned a little bit, and just the people I hung out with probably. I mean, I got probably kicked a couple times, and, talk degraded by PG. But I mean,
you're still gonna call them if there's a problem.
That's exactly right. Just because that happened doesn't mean I hate every cop. Like it's just that I don't like that one particularly that kicked me. But and then the whole label of every cop's a bad cop because if they see it they need to report it. I'm like, okay, what if they have like 4 kids? He has a support. He needs this job. His wife maybe has cancer. He needs an insurance. Like, there's so many other circumstances that you got to take into consideration.
And I think we can all not have police if we got more people like you, though, right? So the rich people got executive protection.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't need the police.
They don't need police. So, back to what were we talking about? Central America?
We're talking about next door. MS-13 is going through.
MS-13 next door, literally.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, we had an incident last time I was there in El Salvador where workers. We had to hire local security too. So one of our security overheard a worker at
You have a landline, dude?
No, it's my landline ringer.
Do those even exist anymore?
I got one. Rotary. So one of our security guards overheard one of the guys say, these gringos don't know that, because we were filming and we were amongst like some gang bangers. And I think one of the production person said something like, be quiet. And I'm like, he heard him say, don't these gringos know that we can make one phone call and they'll never go home? I'm like, so when the security guard told me that, we were like in scramble mode because plus there was another situation where there was a plot of one of the people that we were working closely to. There was a kidnapping plot that we found out that was already in play by the gangs. But I didn't find out until I got there. People knew about it. They just didn't disclose to security. So that was a very challenging one. We had to leave the area we were filming in and go to like a non-disclosed area and just kind of hide out for a little bit. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a little interesting one. I'm not armed either because I can't. So we hire people that can carry, and I usually tell them they are required to bring 2. So when they go, I'm grabbing one. So I'm like, dude, gotta have 2 to work this detail. You gotta let me know where the second one is. We left that area. We went to a hotel and just laid low for a little bit because MS was after.
The kidnapping thing was in Haiti, or
that was in El Salvador.
Oh,
that was a. I was like, man, what did I get myself into this time, boy? Oh man, that was a sketch one. 2.5 weeks.
You're a prepared guy. I think you're ready for all types of situations.
I don't know all. I wasn't ready for this freaking pandemic. Of course, I had masks. I had a gas mask, but I didn't it's such a new thing. This pandemic. bullshit, I think.
It's crazy. We'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to. I'm thinking
No,
about.
I know there's half of people watching are pro-masks, half are anti-mask.
Oh man, everything is politicized these days.
Dude,
You know, everything.
I wear a mask. I'm in public because I'm a responsible citizen. I don't believe. I think it's maybe it helps. I don't know, but I still wear mine just because that's what society is.
Well, we got to wear because $1,000.
Well, yeah. Well, what? Really?
Yeah. You don't wear a mask, it's $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, listening audience.
That's all right. Everyone's gonna want to see the dog, just so you know.
All right. I'll
Everyone's
his name's
animal
Baxter, the tactical corgi.
So there you go. It's a lot of it now. We have to kind of figure out like where we draw the line. You know.
No, you're right. It's because this is going to keep on going. I mean.
Yep.
It's dividing us more and more, man.
That's the. I posted that on my Facebook. Look, I posted an article that just said that Virginia has a bill out right now. Now being a Virginian, so I got to look at all these things that they're going to make the vaccine mandatory. And really, my goal is just to kind of bring up discussions. Like, well, I asked the question, like, should we allow this? At this point, things are not going to be our decisions anymore, and we already know that the people that are in charge are not doing a great job.
Yeah.
So my trust,
on both sides. They're not here for our best interests.
Not Republican, Democrat, nothing. These guys, these are all
horrible.
Yeah, we got to take back the power, guys. We're gonna have to figure this out. We're gonna have to figure out how to take care of it.
He didn't really drain it much.
No.
It's the same, or they replaced it with different stakes. Like,
and we got the same situation now. We got this election coming up, and we got both parties that support military industrial complex, to support the banks. It's all the same stuff.
And the people are suffering. We're getting divided. We're turning on each other.
It makes it easier for them to do what they're doing if we're all turning against each other. So
that's not, like you said. That's not what we can do.
Yeah, right. My message is always, hey, we got to look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all one people, and no matter what side of the line that you fall on, even though like that line is imaginary anyway. So just make sure that we take care of each other. We're running out of time, so I just want to really thank you again, Coach Mike, being on the show, sharing your experience of bodyguard and martial arts. I think some people might have some more questions about prepping and that type of thing. So maybe we can get on another show and try to talk about that.
And if people are interested in getting in the industry, I know a couple guys at Beta, like O'Keefe was like asking me like how to get. No, I saw a shooting video.
Yeah, man, O'Keefe is for real.
Yeah, he's really nice, all tactical.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's interested, you don't have to go to this $12,000 school that I go to be a successful EP agent. I've worked with a bunch of guys that take the 7-day course. I just wanted the more in depth because that's why I want it. But I have resources if you want to get in the industry or more interested about it. Let me know, because I truly believe that because of the defunding of the police and the situation, I think the private security and protection industry will flourish. It's gonna be lucrative.
Is that what you're seeing right now, though? Just with this pandemic?
You know what's bad? When pandemic started, all clients didn't move. No travel, no executive business travel, no movie production, no ministers coming in. So our industry was shut down. There's like only a handful of people that were either on retainer or salary or like, working for big corporations. We're working in the industry. A lot of my friends that are just 1099 contractors were struggling for like a month. And then once they started opening things up, a lot of them were hired to work in banks because a lot of banks they're like, oh man, I don't know what people are going to hit banks up or they're. Yeah. And I got hired at one place where I just protect the executives. So I was fortunate to get picked up. It's been nonstop, so like every day. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's crazy how these companies can afford. It's a big financial planning company that I'm working for.
Damn,
they're on
dude.
Wall Street. All those.
Yeah.
We can't let him leave until we see the dog.
All right, come here.
We gotta see the dog. So where's this puppy? Allegra's on, and she's like, "Yo, where that dog at?"
All right, here comes Baxter. Say hi to
see that.
everybody, buddy. Come on, buddy.
We got a bunch of animal lovers on our show. You know.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna be a star.
Anytime there's an animal around.
You're gonna be a star, buddy. Oh man, I'm about to fall down.
Oh, he's a big old dog. I was
Big old
expecting a little
corgi.
tiny dog.
Nah, he's a fat corgi.
There he is.
Wow,
Hey,
dude.
Bax, say hi to everyone.
You're barking now. You get on the show.
There he is. He's famous now.
There you go. Hi, buddy. Say hi to everyone. Good boy.
Good stuff, man. Hey, Mike, I want to thank you again for taking the time to be on the show. I really
It was
appreciate
my
it.
pleasure, man. Great time.
Always a good time talking to you, catching up with you, with some old friends. And I hope you're doing well. You stay safe during this time. If people got more questions about stuff they want to ask Mike, we can maybe bring him on for another show about prepping or more bodyguard and that type of thing. But thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Good seeing you.
Want to thank
Raise you
again
up later.
all the students for keeping us supporting the school during this time. We know it's a tough time, but we are really excited to continue to provide classes. Right now, next month, September, we got grappling dummies that are on the way. We're stuffing them up right now so we can have some jiu-jitsu drilling, some safe social distance jiu-jitsu drilling. Really looking forward to that. So please stand by. Thank you again for all the students supporting the show, and thank you for all the guests for being on today. Y'all take care.